So let me just introduce this panel. We are running a little bit late because of some technical issues. Jacqueline Omuka is one of your panelists today. She's the head of recruitment KPMG. And I just wanted to mention quickly, for the last 17 years, every time we have an Enactus competition, the KPMG HR team always comes with a big book, and they take the contacts of all the students, and they normally take close to 200 of them. And we are super excited that KPMG has been employing a lot of our Enactus alumni. So Jacqueline, really thank you and your team on behalf of Enactus Kenya for the support you've been giving us for the last 17 years. I just thought I should mention that, and then now hand over to Raphael. So Raphael, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone who's joining us on this 18th Enactus Kenya National Expo. This is a wonderful moment for all of us. The competition has been going, I think, since morning. This is one of the sessions, and in this session, we're going to discuss the job landscape post-COVID. But to help us do that, I just want to check. First of all, is of course to welcome all of us and to ask you to feel at home. Even though I know many of you are joining us from home, we're inviting you to this virtual space, which is actually our new home now. You know, it's the new normal. So this is going to be our new space for engagement, of course, now and until things stabilize or go back to the old normal. To help us with the conversation, we have a couple of panelists who are joining us. We have, let me start with Jacqueline Omuka. As has been introduced already, she's the head of recruitment at KPMG. For those who do not know KPMG, this is an audit firm. And for those who studied commerce, you know that everyone's dream is always to start at KPMG or to land at KPMG. And so to have Jacqueline Omuka here today joining us, and from what has been mentioned, the sort of relationship between Enactus and KPMG, we really feel delighted to have you, Jacqueline, and you're most welcome. We'll also have Mr. Michael Mousau. I don't know if Michael is here with us. Michael is the investment manager at Altafin, Belgium. This is an investment company that mobilizes capital and invests the capital in development projects and programs in developing countries like Kenya. We also have Mr. Eric Mbatha. Mbatha is a sales manager with here in Nairobi with Moonwalk Investment. Moonwalk Investment, briefly, they do Moonwalker vodka, Moonwalker brandy, Moonwalker whiskey. And so Eric is going to tell us a little bit about, of course, the company, but also issues related to the topic. And then we also have Ms. Pauline Wanja. Pauline Wanja, she's the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Future Fast Kenya. Future Fast Kenya largely mobilizes alumni as a resource to help mentor young people in high school and to help young people with different kinds of connections and capacity that they require to go through their next levels. And so Pauline will also be sharing with us a little bit on the topic. And lastly, we have Dickens Akiraga, who is a journalist. And he's also going to tell us a little bit about this topic in relation to media and in relation to journalists. But before we get there, I want to invite my co-moderator. I don't know if Scarlett is here. Scarlett?
Yes, Raphael, I'm right here.
Fine, Scarlett. I was a bit scared that you are not around.
present teacher.
Now I am more confident to move on. So I want to welcome Scarlett to share. She's my co-moderator. She's called Scarlett Chemarum. That's a unique name, Chemarum. So Scarlett is going to share with us a little bit on housekeeping, but also on how we can participate and engage in this conversation. So over to you, Scarlett.
Thank you so much, Raphael. It's a pleasure to be a part of you once again. We've been holding these since morning, so I'm a bit worn out, but not so much so that I can't speak to all of you. It's a pleasure to have all the panelists on this platform right now. And for all those who are joining us, thank you so very much. So for purposes of housekeeping, as Raphael has spoken, we would like to just notify us that we should keep our microphones off and if possible video as well in an area where you know you're not going to be able to access internet that stably like the rest of us. So I would like to just request you that if you know you cannot be online for that long, let's not inconvenience you to the point that you keep on going off. So just take off your video, keep your microphone on and off as well, unless you're called upon to speak, or at that point, then you can be able to reveal yourself to us. So thank you so much on that end. And on the other note, we are running the same campaign, or at least notifying those who can't join us via Twitter. And I'd like to ask us all to use the hashtag Enactus Kenya Expo in expressing your views, or any questions, or anything that you'd like to pass on to others who are not here on this platform currently. Just send us a text or a comment, you know, or let people know that you are in this meeting right now and how it's going for you, what you've learned, experiences. Would really appreciate hearing back from you. From my end, really, that's just it. And I'm just here to assist Raphael in anything. I'll be keeping tabs on the comment section, on the chat section in this session, just in case you have any queries or any comments. You'll also just want to just text them over there, and I'll point them in the right direction. I'll point Raphael to them. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scarlett. In the old normal, we would have said, let's clap for Scarlett. But now that we are in a new normal, we just appreciate Scarlett. And thank you so much for that very useful information on how we will proceed. We are reminded that we are on Twitter, so Enactus Kenya Expo. Please tweet. It's very important for people who are, for all of us to be part of this conversation, but also those who are not able to join us in this conversation can get to know what a wonderful conversation we are having and how we can build on this particular topic together. Again, like we've been reminded, please mute when you're not on the floor or on air for this matter, and then of course you can always unmute. We also have we've been told you can chat, you can send you can write messages related of course to this topic on the chat. I think it's on just at the bottom of your screen, so you can always chat to share your views and thoughts. My role is to be the moderator of the day. I'm called Raphael Obonyo. My background is public policy, but I've been involved in the youth sector, and so quite excited to be part of these conversations and to connect with all of you. Without much ado, and like I did say, my role is the moderator. I'm just facilitating the conversation. So you hear very little of me and more of our panelists and of course participants. And feel free, please, to engage. Even though we have a wonderful list of panelists, people who are joining in, I'm sure you also have some level of, you have experience, some level of expertise. So do not just sit in a classroom waiting for a teacher to engage. Feel free also to share your thoughts. Feel free to share your views. Feel free to engage in this conversation. This is very, very important. There are 5 key elements that we're going to discuss. One is on issues of social distancing related to the topic, the job landscape. Issues of social distancing have come on board, that now people have to maintain social distance. So how does that affect the job landscape? There's also the issue of restriction of movement, both trans-border, but also in terms of different locations. But even at work, people are now restricted to just stick to their workstations. So we'll be discussing on how that is also an important issue and how that relates to the topic. Then there is the virtual space. Like I did say, the new normal, people are moving into the virtual space. There is the issue of contracts, job contracts. Employees now are given are being now contracted and not being given more or less permanent kind of engagement. So we'll be discussing on how this has also, how this has affected employees and employers, and lastly is the issue of skills, which are required, and this is in relation to the future of work. So let me move in and delve into our discussions for the day and allow the panelists to engage us a little bit. And we will start with Jacqueline Omuka. Jacqueline, first of all, before Jacqueline, I just want to say each panelist will have about 3 to 5 minutes to just engage on the topic and share with us, for example, your background, how on job landscape, how this relates to your sector, challenges and opportunities that you foresee. I might shoot in a question or two, but participants will also be asking questions, and Scarlett will help us with that at some point. But let's start with Jacqueline from KPMG. You are dealing a lot with recruitment. How is this COVID-19? How has it affected your work or your sector? But most importantly, post-COVID, as someone who is involved in the recruitment, what do you see post-COVID in terms of recruitment, in terms of engagement of employees, in terms of contracting, in terms of offices? We are being told now we do not need big offices. What do you foresee yourself, Jacqueline? Welcome.
Thank you, Raphael. And just to introduce myself, my name is Jackie Omuka, and I am the head of talent acquisition and learning and development in KPMG. That sits under HR. And there's a reason as to why I've introduced myself as the head of talent acquisition, because recruitment is ad hoc and talent acquisition is more strategic. And as KPMG, we were well prepared ahead of time to ensure that we have a unit that actually looks at the future of work and what the skills that we need in the future. And so my work basically in KPMG is to try and focus on what skills are required in the firm for not just for the present, but also for the future, to get to look at the market trends, not just in Kenya, but globally. As you are aware, KPMG is a member firm that has a presence in 154 countries. And so my work is actually to look at the trends out there in the market, see what the other member firms are doing within KPMG, and not just that, but to also look at the trends in all other companies and organizations within the globe, just to see where we are going in terms of recruitment. How COVID has affected us, actually, it is a major blow for me. I'm very passionate about talent development and just seeing young people being able to get jobs within the country and without. And it has been a really sad year for me, because we all are aware that COVID has affected us a great deal. And it has been mentioned before that we normally recruit between 150 to 200 graduate recruits every year. And unfortunately, this year we were not able to do that because COVID hit just before we started the process. And as a talent acquisition expert, my heart goes to all the graduates that would have gotten opportunities within, not just within KPMG, but within other firms and companies that hold graduate recruitment programs. I know there are those that have already gone through the process way ahead. And because of COVID, the contracts of the new recruits have had to be relooked at. For those that had already been recruited, there are those companies that have had to change the terms of contract, or rather the confirmation terms, because we all really cannot be able to see how COVID will take us. So it has really affected us greatly. But I need to put this across. I had a different webinar with university students last week, and I was really, really glad to see that university students and our students are really hopeful, and they're taking this opportunity to redefine themselves, to discover themselves, and to just get to know and to understand themselves better, to understand the careers that they've gotten into better, and even to understand what best they can do, what different areas they can delve in. So there's hope. there's certainly a lot of uncertainty in this period, but there's a lot of hope in the future, because COVID has also unveiled opportunities that we didn't know would exist. Who would ever have imagined that?
That's exactly what we want to hear. Tell us a little bit about these opportunities that are available, and I'm happy you're picking up on that.
So I've actually realized that because of COVID, we have all moved virtually, or rather most of us have moved virtually. And I'll give an example of myself, my work. Most of my work, anyone would imagine an interview can only be done or one-on-one. Though in KPMG, we would do interviews online, but it has given me an opportunity to discover that I can actually be able to develop tools that could be used for interviewing, and I can actually interview Raphael very comfortably online, and I can go ahead and give you a contract online, and you start working. I can induct online. Those are the kind of activities that I've actually been able to do, apart from interviewing, which we were doing before, but I've actually been able to now go ahead and issue contracts online. I've been able to negotiate contracts online. Most people have always imagined that for you to have to negotiate, you have to be facing the candidate so that you can have a more fruitful negotiation. So much has changed on that, and I'm grateful. So it has actually opened up my abilities to want to be more innovative in terms of being in the virtual space.
Thank you so much, Jackie, and for that very wonderful presentation. In fact, I met someone who attended a virtual interview, and she told me it's different. I don't even know if I'm going to be picked. So, like you're saying, I mean, it's a great opportunity, but it's a bit different. But I'm happy that we are seeing a silver lining in this very dark cloud, which is really, really great. Thank you so much. Maybe also moving forward, do you see this being the norm, or do you see this in terms of engagement, in terms of contracting, in terms of opportunities? Do you see many more opportunities opening up as a result of this new normal, or do you think we have to revert to the old normal once the crisis perhaps is over?
Certainly not. We have to be very optimistic, and we have to look at the glass half full. And I can see a lot of opportunities that have opened up and that are going to open up. Everyone now has gone virtual. I was very shocked when COVID came up that most people did not know what Zoom is. But now everyone knows what Zoom is. Even in our own social circles, people actually meet through Zoom and actually even have drink ups through Zoom. So that is already an opportunity. I'm also the head of learning and development in KPMG, and most of our trainings were being undertaken one-on-one. Of course, we had the learning management systems which were undertaken online, but we have actually been able to change our content so that we can be able to run these programs online very successfully. And those are opportunities for those who are passionate about developing talent, or rather passing information out there. They've been able to quickly capture this opportunity to change their content so that it can be virtual friendly. So there are so many opportunities that are there. On contracting, I would start by giving one very, very clear example. Most millennials or the young people that we're hiring at this time would always want to work flexi times. In fact, not just the young people. Before COVID, I would get quite a few candidates who would apply for jobs and actually state that they would want to work for certain hours. They would not want to be employed full-time. So this is something that was already there, or rather had already started cropping up, but people did not think it is possible, or rather did not think that we will start effecting it as soon as, this year. But this is the future. Contracts are being changed. COVID has actually made us as employers start reviewing our contracts, because the future, the COVID has brought about the need for us to see that we cannot cast our stones on our contracts. So there's a possibility that in the future, contracting will definitely change. Look at the example of Andela. I don't know how many of you have heard of Andela, which is a software engineering firm. They've actually moved totally virtually. Who would have ever thought of that? And in as much as they were actually practicing flexi hours, if you go to the internet and read about Andela, for those of you who haven't, you'll realize that they are moving virtually completely. And that means the change of contracts, because some people would want to be entrepreneurs, and they might want to choose working half day or maybe a certain number of days in a week, and do other things. So this is the future, Raphael, and we cannot run away from it. We can only change. We can never go back to where we were, because our eyes are now open. We can only get better and refine whatever we have.
Thank you so much. Jackie has told us that we were once blind. Now we can see the glass is half full. The future is here. There are many more opportunities. I mean, people who want to work flexi hours. So fantastic. Thank you so much, Jackie. And anyone who has a question for Jackie, please just note it. And when we open the floor for conversation, question and answers, please feel free. Thank you so much, Jackie, for those very wonderful and insightful engagement. Thank you so much. Please stay on, because I'm sure there are many questions coming your way. Next, I want to invite Michael Mousau. Is Michael with us? Michael? Since Michael hasn't joined us, but I saw Eric somewhere, Eric Mbatha. So Eric Mbatha, like I did say, is a Nairobi region sales manager, and he works with the Moonwalk investment. And like I did mention at the very beginning, they do Moonwalk vodka, Moonwalk whiskey, Moonwalk brandy. I'm sure I am imagining they also do Moonwalk milk and Moonwalk tea, but Eric will tell us more about that. Welcome, Eric, and tell us a little bit about how COVID-19 has affected, of course, investment. Also, you are as a sales manager, how it has affected you, the challenges that you see or have been presented, but also opportunities that you see. You have 5 minutes, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Raphael, for the opportunity. As you have heard, I'm from Moonwalk Investment, regional manager, Nairobi region. We major in basically on, is quote unquote, manufacturing sanitizer. The pandemic has affected us as a company, because in our field of marketing and sales, we have to go on the ground to meet one-on-one with our clients. For example, my sales representative on the ground, they have to go on the field to meet one-on-one with our clients, with our distributors. But when the pandemic came, it gave us a challenge. We had to retreat. We had to go back to the drawing board as a company to work on how we can improve in the virtual area. We had to add another department in our company, the tech department, which was to deal with advertising through Facebook, Twitter, and other. But these are some of the disadvantages we are finding as a company. We have to adopt to the new technology. Like as a company, you have to have a strong network. Like in my case, my network is failing me. So these are some of the disadvantages we are experiencing as a company.
Not back on. I think, Jackie, if you are here, I think we'll continue this conversation with you. But I think what Eric is talking about is extremely important in terms of, adopting technology and ensuring that technology is available, accessible, and affordable to everyone, because the new space requires largely use of technology. And so if it's not available, if it's not accessible by all, if it's not affordable by all, then it becomes very, very difficult to operate. I don't know if we are able to get Eric back or Jackie, if you're there. Jackie?
Raphael, certainly we'll have to engage in investment of technology.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, we can never go back to where we were. And this is where I would like to encourage all the participants in this forum. This is your time to look for opportunities as to how you're going to tap on this, because remember, as we invest in technology, there are other areas that we will definitely save on. I'll give an example of a basic working environment. If we are going to embrace flexi working hours, then that would mean, like the moderator started by saying, we are going to most probably save on space. I have talked about how contracting would change, and that would mean that when contracts change, then it means I'm definitely not going to hire someone at the same salary that I did, because if you are going to work for 3 days in a week, then I'm not going to give the full salary. So I'm actually saving some amounts somewhere, as speaking as a layman. So we definitely have to invest, and not just on the machinery, but even the tools and the systems that we are investing on. Now we are using Zoom, and there are quite a number of other technologies that are available, Teams being one of them. Our children at school are using Google Meetings. And so this is where I'm encouraging all of us to come up with other inventions that people can use. What about an invention where a mama boga at this time where there's social distancing, they can use to have their table banking? What about yourselves as friends? What innovation can you come up with, in terms of technology, just so that you can be abreast with each other and even come up with solutions for companies like ours? So technology is definitely the way to go. And I hope that after this, someone will come up with an invention and quote this meeting, that they had an aha moment because of this meeting. Raphael, you're on mute.
No, I'm just saying that it's really great. You're reminding us that there's no going back. We're moving forward. The future is here. It's come much earlier than we expected, I guess. But nevertheless, we have to make do with what we have. Issues of flexi hours and contracting, issues of tools. But most importantly, you mentioned the issue of innovations. That we should see opportunities within this crisis and come up with innovations, but new inventions also on how to do things better, more effectively and more efficient. Because I think there are many lessons that have been that have emerged as a result of this COVID-19. Like I said, I'm just a facilitator. I'm just facilitating a conversation, and so I want to also welcome participants who are here now that we do not seem to find the other panelists. To engage Jackie. Jackie, she's responsible, like she said, for talent. What did you say? Talent recruitment?
Talent acquisition.
Talent acquisition and development, which is extremely important. So you have a unique opportunity to also engage with Jackie on what is required, what she expects, and on issues related to the topic. So I think there's a way you can raise your hand, but I also see a couple of questions already. So I don't know if Scarlett is there to help us if there are any questions that are emerging.
Yes, I'm here, Raphael. I was just following up with Dickens. He seems to be having a power outage where he is, so he's trying to get back to us.
Don't worry, that is the new normal. We are likely to have a lot of that.
Indeed.
Yeah. Jackie, you can imagine an interview with a potential employee, and then they have power outage. Yeah?
It has happened before, and there goes an opportunity if there's any engineer here on how best we can be able to handle that. Because what happens to the student who will have an iPad or rather a tablet for learning in the village? Why don't we come up with an innovation something that would turn the big inverters. People have always imagined inverters are only used by the rich.
Yeah.
I would need for someone to come up with an innovation on how we can save on power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fine.
Raphael, we have Wanja. Pauline is on. So
Pauline
I think could, yeah.
So do we want to hear let's hear from Pauline first. Pauline Wanja is, like I did say, she's the Chief Executive Officer of the Future Fast Kenya. Welcome so much, Pauline. And Future Fast Kenya does engage in mobilization of alumni as a resource to help with mentorship, to help with, connecting young people to get to the next levels in terms of schooling, but also in terms of work and other kind of development related opportunities. Wanja has just joined us, and Wanja, I want to give you 5 minutes to share with us a little bit on the job landscape in relation to post-COVID-19. How has this affected the work that you're doing, whether with the alumni or young people, in terms of future of work? What do you see as future of work? What are the skills that are needed? What are the opportunities in this crisis? Welcome, Pauline.
Thank you so much, Raphael. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yes, I won't go through the introduction Raphael has given, but just to give a bit of perspective on times of work. For the longest time, working with young people and working as a young person, my job tended to be online, but then it was not the normal thing for people to do, engage online. So what I've seen in the last couple of weeks or months, people are more accepting of engaging online, connecting online, be it even the government. The last few weeks I've been engaging with Ministry of Education and other people online. So I feel like during this time, people are more accepting of even accepting meetings online and engaging. And in terms of work, I feel I'm able to engage more people because in terms of space on getting very specialized skill, because you don't need to meet these people in person and there is a general acceptance of working this way. I feel people, especially with very specific skills like graphic designer or social media consultant, then it's been a good thing to engage this way. And in terms of going forward for this, I'll just reiterate the first point that it's a good thing that people are more accepting, which is good for young people. It means you can explore to work online. You can reach out to people you probably had requested for workspaces and they were not available, but now because of the nature of the new job is creating new jobs and new ways of engagement. And in terms of work, support for young people, since I work in the space of alumni mentorship, alumni engagement, and connecting older Kenyans with younger Kenyans, during the last couple of months, there's been increased alumni activities online, which means there are more people willing to donate their time to mentor and to support young people getting into the job market that way. So I feel like it's been an interesting time to do that. So the other question would be like, are there skills that are missing that we can build on, especially during this time, that would help people work or engage online? Like in the judiciary, a friend of mine was telling me they've started filing online and everything going online, but on the other end, things still have to be printed out and someone to sit and read through. So it's like, for young people, it's an interesting place to just engage. As people are moving online, what are the skills that are missing? It could be there's more jobs for data clerks to upload some of these documents, or people to have an easy time in terms of interrogating this document. So with that, I think I can give back to Raphael, unless you have a specific question.
Thank you so much. Pauline, maybe you can just tell us a little bit on, in terms of, the kind of work that you're doing, mentoring young people post-COVID. Of course, you've mentioned that alumni are more available online, but how is mentorship also going on online? Is this working for you?
Yes, it is working. Like for young people, we have people who have more time to spare, or they have more time to be online. So they're asking, do you have some young people who need to be mentored or supported? Not generally in a specific work area, but in the general length of mentorship. Post-COVID, I cannot really comment on that because I think online mentorship is really determined by people having more time to either be on Facebook or WhatsApp, because those are the two means we use for mentorship, or we have a software, but then it needs you to be online to sign up for that.
Maybe just my final one is a comment on technology, because you deal with young people and
Yes.
issues of access, availability, but also affordability of technology. What is your view?
For most young people, they would say they do not have enough data bundles. And in that case, if the mentor is willing to just take on the charge of handling the mentorship online, then the cost goes to the person who's providing mentorship. But increasingly, you find that the young people who need that kind of support the most, then they're not able to access or be online for that long period of time. So it could be something, a broader partnership with mobile provider or data providers to do that, or because initially such conversation could happen on resource centers that have this, but that's not happening. So you really, really have to depend on the phone. But for most young people, especially who need that kind of support, then they're not able to afford to be online that way.
Thank you so much, Pauline. Stay on because there are a couple of questions that are coming in from participants, through Scarlett, but also directly from participants. We really appreciate that you've been able to join us, and thanks for the insightful engagement. I like what you talked about, issues of online engagement. In fact, yesterday, I was attending a public participation on one of the proposed laws in the country, and it sounded quite unique, engaging legislators on online, but many more people are embracing that as a new way of work. And yeah, you also mentioned technology and the skills that will be required, but I think we'll also hear a little bit from our participants if they have any questions. Scarlett, I don't know if you are there and if you have any questions, or should I move to the people I can see here? Mark Thumi. I think Mark has a question. Mark.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the opportunity, first of all. Raphael, we've met before through SAIDS. I don't know if you can remember, but that's beside the point. Mine is more of a response rather than a question to Jacqueline, because she asked if anyone had an aha moment regarding technology and what we can leverage now with technology. So us at Enactus Africa Nazarene, we've created a website which you can log into right now. It's called the database.co.ke. So through the database.co.ke, we link up employers and employees. So we offer full-time employment, part-time, gigs, internships, as well as volunteering opportunities to volunteer. So we are leveraging mostly on the gig economy because we're looking at the job landscape post-COVID-19. And so we were looking at a way to leverage technology because we wanted, what COVID-19 requires is custom-made solutions, because this is a new normal. No one was prepared for this. So we've had to recalibrate even the way in which people apply employment, what employment means. As Jacqueline was saying, a lot of people these days prefer to have flexible times as they're working. So when we give people the gig economy, which is worth $109 million right now, the gig economy in Kenya is already worth $109 million. It is projected to grow to about $345 million by 2023. And this evaluation was done before COVID-19. So what we are leveraging now as Enactus Africa Nazarene is this website. We are lineating the method through which people can get jobs online. In fact, we launched the site just about an hour or two ago, and we already have a job listing there for a gig. It's a writing gig. So Jacqueline, as an answer to your question, we already had our aha moment, and it's already up and working. So yeah, that's all we have to say. And thank you so much for this opportunity to engage with distinguished gentlemen and women like yourselves.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I'm sure Jackie would want to comment a little bit on that. But I think what Mark is saying that they are ahead of time, and young people are already doing it. They're already coming up with new innovations and new sort of forms of ways of engagement and relating with the new normal. Jackie, I don't know if you have a comment on that or even to expound a little bit. And then participants, just a moment. To participants, if you have any question, there is a way you can raise your hand and I'll see it and allow you to ask your question. This is your moment to be on this global platform, Thanks.
Thank you, Raphael. I'm actually very excited. Mark, congratulations on that, you and your team. I'm happy that people are now having their aha moments and coming up with solutions. Actually, my next point would have been not to just come up with the innovations, because when we are talking about virtual solutions, some people might relate it to people who are more skewed to IT courses, but that's not the case. I'm also not an IT specialist, but you can, if you are not an IT specialist, you can actually come up with a solution, with an idea, with a proposal that can be patented, so that someone in IT or you can work with someone in IT who can actually ensure that your goals and your visions have been met. I'm happy that happens. A challenge to Mark and all of us who are coming up with solutions and apps. That is the way to go, and I'm really, really excited that is happening. Now, the challenge to all of us is, if you look at your phones, you will get that there are thousands and thousands of applications, right? But you'll realize that some applications you might never know unless you are browsing through your phone or someone mentions it. So my challenge to all of us is that as soon as you come up with an aha moment, don't sleep with it. Please make sure that people get to know about it. Mark, I will be very happy to get a link to your application or rather solution, because sometimes we normally post internship opportunities, job opportunities, and I will tell you for sure that at times it's even a challenge to get someone to undertake an internship, or rather in an area that we really want. And we hardly ever advertise our jobs. We actually use the social media and social networks to advertise our jobs. So it's such a platform that we can always leverage on. Please make sure that employers like us are able to know that the application and the solution exists, so that we can know how best we can support you, or rather partner with you to even make it better. So I really congratulate you and any other person who is coming up with such solutions.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
Can I add something? I'm sorry to interrupt. Just a small detail.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Yes, thank you. So Jacqueline, first of all, thank you so much for the vote of confidence. And maybe one thing we can add on is, I remember one of the things you said is that you look for data regarding employment. And actually, one thing about the database that I didn't mention is that our main revenue stream is actually through data. You see, when people apply for these jobs, we are quantifying this data, we are organizing it. So we are collecting very valuable, very aggregated, very organized job market data. Like we did a survey before doing the website, and we were able to quantify the ages of people, the industries they work in, whether they're interested in working full-time or part-time, whether they're employed or not. So aside from just being able to get these opportunities to the people who need them, we can also give you as employers valuable insights regarding the people that you want to hire.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks. We also have Brian Muyekera. Brian, if you're here, I see you've raised your hand, so please shoot your question or make your comment.
Okay, very good afternoon. Mine is just a concern. As a computer security student, I have a challenge that even currently there is a trend of most and many links being spread in social media. WhatsApp. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Oh God. So my worry is, okay, now there is this pandemic and everybody's coming up with ideas and solution, and most basically their technological solution. companies, individuals, and even every interested party. So my worry is there was First World War, there was Second World War, and I promise you today that the next coming World War is the Third World War is not going to be a physical war, but will be information war, information warfare. So my worry is with all these links, because I was trying to investigate some links and I found that there were actually social engineering that were installing some scripts inside your phone, and it could install a keylogger that will take your details when you log when you are doing your stuff and logging in. It will take your details. So how is this going to be controlled, or rather how is this going to be done in a way that everybody is going to benefit and not be affected, especially we are so vulnerable, and we see every opportunity. Kenya is hiring, these companies, and some maybe I see cause harm to us.
Thank you so much, Brian. I hope there won't be a third world war. But I think the point he's making is extremely important on the issue of cyber security, and also, of course, issues of data privacy and protection. So I think we'll start with Pauline Wanja, or your view on this, and then Jackie, if you have anything to add. Pauline.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you, Brian. I agree with Raphael. We hope there is no third world war. I would say for most people, it's information, just knowing the right information, and also before you click on something, just trying to find if there is more. You can verify the information before you apply for a job. Can you go deeper to check, are these people legitimate? And for people like Mark who are trying to create platform, how do you create platform that have that credibility, that people know everything that's posted here, it's good? And also, if you're allowing third party to come and profile on your stuff, can you verify them? I know Facebook is trying to do that in the age of trying to make sure that the responsibility and picking on which one is the fake news. So just following up on that.
I think I like what Brian said, and I would like to actually give an analogy of this. And this is our experience on our last year's graduate recruitment program. We realized that most graduate recruits, or rather most of the candidates that we were interviewing, kept mentioning that they wanted to work in the data and analytics unit. And the one thing that I would like to get to all of us is that, as Brian said, we are working on a data-oriented environment, and believe me or not, every other sector leverages on data so that they can be able to make decisions, including HR. We are now moving more to data analytics and HR analytics so that we can be able to make decisions for employees, and also to be able to guide our employers and the globe as a whole. So please, let's not restrict ourselves to data analytics as a field where specific people would delve into. Let us all look at our areas of expertise and work with the data that is there so that we can be able to give solutions and even give research. I mean, this is a good opportunity for any of us to undertake a research on our own on a certain matter that you might be passionate about, and give information about it. And I would like to encourage Brian, now that you have realized that there's an issue with security, and we have also realized that there's opportunity to even undertake webinars, why not come up with a webinar meeting where you are going to enlighten people on security issues? That is an opportunity for you to enlighten people on what they need to do, and with that, it gives you a platform for people to know what you can be able to do. It gives you a platform to be able to enlighten other people, even if not for the purposes of you being paid, but it gives you exposure, and it will actually add up to your profile in the future. So Brian, because you are aware of this, I'm now encouraging you now make people aware.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And Pauline, I think Jackie did emphasize the issue of awareness, education, and for people, but also verification of whatever information that we come across. And Jackie, I think, has again reiterated the important need for young people to take up the opportunity. I mean, this is an opportunity for Brian and all young people, to come up with ideas on how to mitigate some of the challenges or problems that do exist or might come up. It's an opportunity to do more research, to engage and enlighten the public on the challenges, the problems, the dangers, but also the opportunities that do exist. I don't know if there's anyone with one more question before I take it back to Enactus so that we wind up.
Okay.
Yes, Brian.
Okay, so I got it right from Jackie and Pauline, but from the Jackie's point that she was challenging me that I should start maybe something to enlighten people maybe on cybersecurity, which is my interest actually. But if you start something, especially somebody like me who is nowhere, and you start something, you maybe invite some people in such like a meeting. You'll find that not more than 2 people will come, and those who come in the meeting are just those people who say, okay, let me go because Brian will take it negatively if I don't attend the meeting. So I'll like to challenge the organizations and the companies for most youths who are interested in bringing the impact or positive impact to the society, that you should kindly partner with us. So if I say that I have a Zoom meeting in partnership with this company and this company, it will be facilitated with this CEO or this big boss. People will want to, let's go and see. And with that one, I think it will attract more traffic and maybe many people shall benefit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. I was going to comment on that, but I saw Pauline smiling, so I'm sure Pauline will comment on this in terms of as you do your closing remarks, and then Jackie, as you do your closing remarks also. Now, just young people should take up the opportunity without looking over their shoulders. So, Pauline, let me give you a chance to maybe say something, but also make your final, your closing remarks.
Oh, yeah. So, just for Brian, thank you for raising it out. And I think one of the things information has done is break the bridges. Like as young people, when we're starting out, you kept thinking you need a godfather or something. Like even this platform for Enactus is predominantly for you to put yourself out there, and then you have this whole team that Enactus has curated and brought for an audience. So I feel with information and greater partnerships, young people can be able to confidently say they have a shot at doing something without necessarily thinking, hey, I need a conversation with this CEO who I cannot get in touch. But then you have a platform like Enactus that would make that happen.
Thank you so very much. And Jackie, I think you had a chance to make remarks. We do thank you. Thanks to everyone. Thanks Enactus for this opportunity. Thanks to our able panelists who help us to delve into the issue. And thanks to participants for your quality engagement. Thank you so very much. And I hope this conversation will continue on this platform, but also on other platforms. Thank you so much. Enactus, back to you.